Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if any of you suffer from crippling fears of semi-trucks attacking you, lawnmowers attacking you, soda machines attacking you, any electronic device except the ones that conveniently don't hurt our heroes, then you're in luck because today we're talking Maximum Overdrive.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion,
You like this?
news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasures.
Yes.
Oh,
Here we
yeah.
are. I did like a WWE intro.
That was nice. I like that.
Maximum Overdrive. I feel like the title of this movie is more like a monster truck jam than anything. But before we get, did I say monster truck jam?
I think he said jam.
You know that she's a real shit kicker waitress at the local diner. We call her monster truck jam. Monster truck jam. Hashtag
Dan rolls in on a monster truck,
monster truck
drinking
jam.
beer out of her hat.
I feel
Jan.
like one of the characters in this movie was named Monster Truck Jan. Anyways, hello, Popcorn Talkers. We are here for another episode of Guilty Movie Pleasures. Sorry about not being here yesterday, but we are back.
Yes.
One day later. No big deal, just 24 hours, and we are talking about Maximum Overdrive. The fans requested it. I'd never seen it before.
Neither had I.
I'd heard rumors about it, and then ironically, I'd been flipping through Hulu a couple weeks ago, and I read the I didn't even know the synopsis till like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's one of those movies that I never knew I needed so much in my life until it came along.
God,
and now I'm like,
absolutely needed
how
it.
have I lived this long without this movie in my life? It's absurd. For those of you who don't know, Maximum Overdrive, the premise is that the planet Earth is in this weird comet's
Is in the trail of a comet. There's some kind of
like
radioactive green
smoke
shadow.
Yeah, green atmosphere.
Yeah.
Makes all the electronics on Earth come to life and kill people
Just
in very
kill.
brutal, hilarious ways. And
Just from the opening scene, my God, I was like, "This
we'll
is
get
it.
into
This is the one for me."
this is it. If I could marry a film, this would be it.
I'd really love to just preface the
Please.
entire show tonight by saying, when asked why he hasn't directed a movie since Maximum Overdrive, Stephen King responded, "Just watch Maximum Overdrive,"
Which we did.
which we did.
And also, there's another factoid where he is admitted to being coked out of his mind the
That's
entire
right.
time.
He said, being a former cocaine addict, he later admitted, "I was coked out of my mind the entire time, making the picture, and often didn't know what I was doing."
It shows.
He remarked he'd like to try directing it again someday, this time sober.
The same movie.
The same movie.
I like it not just like I'd like to try directing again.
I
No,
would like to
wanna-
direct this
I
one
want to
again.
remake this movie.
I can do it better, I'm
I
confident.
don't
of it.
think that this is. We've talked about this before several times on the show, past and present and everything. Where this kind of movie, the premise for this movie could not exist outside of the '80s.
Oh,
Because
God, no.
You could not. No studio would greenlight a movie that wasn't a kid's film. Like, this could be a kid's film nowadays, like a
Yeah.
PG. Oh man, the babysitter has
It's
to
like
save us
Pixels.
from the exactly.
Yeah.
Pixels is our generation's or this generation's version of Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
It's all sugar coated. It's kind of Adam Sandler-y. But this is so violent, so bizarre. And like the kills in the beginning
Sexist.
are so sexist, racist, like
All of it.
It has every stereotype on the planet, and man, is it awesome and fun. It falls off the rails completely in the second half, but I still love it. I like I said, I'd never seen this movie, and I was laughing hysterically for like the first 30 minutes of it because I
Oh
was
my
so.
God.
That my favorite part of the movie, which we'll get into more in detail, but just I was so hooked by all the weird machines that were killing people. And
I just loved the bridge scene. The bridge scene, that was it for me.
the bridge scene to me, I haven't seen a scene that much fun with car mayhem since Final Destination 2.
Yeah.
Where it was just like
Watermelons!
The best is the watermelon. I was just
The
going to say
watermelons.
the watermelons. The watermelons are such as there's like this watermelon truck that tips. So you don't know, if you haven't seen it in a while, this in the beginning, one of the first things that this weird comet radiation causes is one of those bridges over a river to start going up while people are still on it. And there's
Yeah.
one truck that's in the middle, and then there's just a truck full of watermelons. And everybody starts piling up on each other, and the watermelons are just like chaotically just crushing.
The shot, Stephen King, I gotta give it to you. The shot of the whole movie is in the car when you see the watermelon coming at the sunroof.
So good.
That is the one. And then when the guy gets out of the car and just trips ever so slightly into the pile of watermelons,
Or
it's
when
like, oh,
there's a moment where the first car swerves and a stunt woman just slams out of the windshield, and you're like, holy shit!
oh yeah,
This is what we're in for. And while we're talking about it, we might as well, I know this is off to what we usually do, but I think we should roll our first sound clip, which
Let's
is
do it.
Which is in a second, the greatest scream ever, because there's a motorcyclist who's like going, huh, 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 and he falls off the bridge and gives. There's been a lot of great screams on this show, but I mean, Peter Sarsgaard had it nailed as the most like just animalistic scream. This might be hands down the funniest scream I've ever heard in a movie, and I know I'm really building it up, but can we play best scream ever?
Let's do it.
Can we?
It's like reverse Tarzan.
Can we play that one more time, just because? I love, even though Stephen King may have been coked out of his mind, he had the I'm crying, I'm laughing so hard. He had the idea to make it sound muffled at least, like he's in a helmet because he's wearing a helmet. So it's like,
and there's a little bit of echo when he goes down under the bridge.
Holy shit!
I just, man, it's such a good scream.
I want to do an improv riff with it, but I want to sing.
I'll tell you one.
Tell
This
us
morning I was taking a shower. I just moved to a new place, so you got to figure out where the slippery areas in your bathroom are.
Yeah.
I dropped the soap. I slipped on the soap in the shower. Grabbed my curtain. It was a long fall, and I just went. Boom. Right in the tub.
I had been to Six Flags recently. I hadn't been in a while since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I went last summer. And I hadn't been on the water park in forever I hadn't been there in a long time. I usually get too sunburnt. And I don't like having my shirt off. I'm not muscular enough. I look like a doofus. And then, I did one of those slides where it's like the really narrow one that just kind of drops you straight down. And as you're going, you feel like you're gonna fall out. Yeah. I don't know how like 6 people don't die a day on those things because. It's like this high. It's barely higher than your body.
Yeah.
And you're bouncing back and forth in there. And so my friends were all egging me on, like, you got to do it, man. Don't be a wuss. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I'm like, but I'm really freaked out. And just sheer terror hit as I was going down that slide, and I screamed, keep your arms crossed.
Don't arch your back on one of those things, because if you ride on your shoulder blades, man, you're screaming. You go screaming.
They don't tell you that there's like, the older I get, the more I'm like, there's like divots in it where you're just like, and you just hit it. We did a slip and slide in our yard a few years back for one of my birthday parties. I was like, it'll be fun. Slip and slide, right? Because as a kid, you're like, slip and slide's great. Slip and slide as an adult is more like throw your body on hard ground.
Slip and slide as a kid is my body's made of rubber. Let's
it doesn't
do
matter.
This.
Yeah. And then the next day I was so sore I got out of bed and I was like,
did you fall out of bed?
Just fell out of bed.
I actually went to Costco this past weekend. I swear to God, and I was doing the free samples because on Saturdays they just go crazy with the free samples.
You love free sample Saturdays.
I love the free sample Saturdays. Yeah. And I was going around, and they had a little cart with a microwave. It says caution hot on the front, but they're not always. They've been sitting out a while. And they had this really special deal on lentil soup. It's a package of 4 for $1, $4.99. Recommend you get it.
4 for 1.
4 for 1.
How did that?
So I try a sample.
Logically makes no sense for them.
I know, and I put it in my mouth, and it was so goddamn hot. So I was just like,
you really startled the sample clerk.
I started, and I didn't want to spit it out because it was free.
Yeah,
it tasted so good.
It was free. I didn't want to spit it out.
I can't waste it.
I could go on with this all day, but we'll get back to. I know we got sidetracked. We usually do that later in the show, but man, This movie deserves a very sporadic, more coked out version of guilty movie pleasures. Not that either of us are on coke, but it's
want to throw something.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. How did you react when you saw this? Because I was just.
Well, let me just say this.
My mind was boggled by it.
I literally had no idea what this movie was about at all. I mean, we had a fan suggestion last week. Watch Maximum Overdrive. You said, let's do it. I said, cool. And I literally thought, okay, Overdrive is going to be like a racing movie. It's going to be, weird. I don't know. The first scene.
Oh, yeah.
The first scene, I was like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what I want to watch all of the time.
All of the time.
Because I want something that I can either laugh at, make fun of, or I don't know.
Or not give a shit.
Not give a shit.
It's so fun to not give a shit.
It's so much fun.
It makes it so much better than like something you give a shit about disappointing you. This
Yeah.
one you're just like, who cares? This is fun.
I shit my pants when I saw Stephen King did it. I saw the credit and I was like, that's Stephen King?
Really?
And then I saw him on screen.
Not like, oh man, we'll get into that. So now we're gonna try and we're gonna attempt to do the plot in under 3 minutes. Steven, if you're if you're ready in the booth, Steve, we're gonna try and do the plot in under 3 minutes. It is quite the cluster. Would you like to start or me?
I would love if you started.
Okay, here we go. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We basically hear that there's some kind of meteor that's given this weird dust cloud, and you're like, what's happening? And the first thing you see...
very hard to read title screen.
The first attack that happens is Stephen King plugging into an ATM machine, and the machine calls him an asshole, and then he's like, this machine's calling me an asshole, and you're like, that's weird. And then other machines just start murdering at random. There's like, there's a lawnmower, there's a steamroller over a 10-year-old, which is kind of weird.
I enjoyed it, though.
And there was like, there's...
the Coke machine.
The Coke machine bludgeoning a guy to death. There's
and then we get to the bridge.
We get to the bridge scene
where there's people playing bridge on the bridge, not paying attention to what they're doing, and the bridge starts lifting itself up. Honey, look, the bridge is lifting. That's impossible.
The greatest scream ever.
So good, greatest scream ever. And then we see everything, all the cars falling over, the watermelons crushing. Everything happens. Then we go to the bus stop, right?
Truck stop.
Truck stop,
and everybody's introduced there. And Emilio Estevez has really bloodshot eyes for the first few scenes in the movie.
I thought he was high.
I feel like he was on coke.
2 minutes.
Him and Stephen King just doing coke. Anyways, that's beside the point. So they're in the truck stop. You establish all these characters. This trucker comes up with a Green Goblin from Spider-Man
same thing.
truck, and everybody's like, "This is weird." And then one of the trucks
Somehow
comes
everybody
alive.
knows him.
One of the trucks comes alive and kills a dude, bashes his face, and you're like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Cut back to the baseball kids. Baseball kids all get murdered except one who kind of has dead eyes as it is. He had a really creepy face.
He was a very odd fella, and he biked away. Biking away from cars, not a smart idea in this kind of world.
And he just keeps biking away from an ice cream truck, lawnmower.
Yeah.
And finally,
back at the,
all roads lead to the truck stop.
Yes, all roads lead to the truck stop. We're back at the truck stop. We see a guy going to the arcade where, what's the game? I don't even remember. Star Castle.
Yeah.
Star Castle just attacks him. It kills him.
Kills him. He gets electrocuted by it. Then there's these newlyweds that come in, and they're kind of weird, and they end up at the truck stop too, because they get chased by another stray truck. It starts off with a lot of other electronics and just becomes all about semi-trucks. And then there's the Bible salesman and the tough girl, and she hitched a ride with this creepy Bible salesman.
Creepiest.
And then she tells him, like, I'll chop your hand off if you touch me again. They get there. Bible salesman quickly gets killed, but then is alive later on. You find out for about a second.
Yeah.
And then tough girl and Emilio Estevez fall in love somehow.
I don't even know what their names are.
I don't
know. They
know
end up
either.
sleeping together.
They end up sleeping together in the weirdest sex scene ever. Post-sex scene, I guess you could say. Everything builds up to the trucks are basically just circling. Should I just take us home? Here we go. Okay, fine.
Take us home.
And then the trucks are circling nonstop for like the last 40 minutes till they all start running out of gas. Then a car comes up with a military car with a machine gun and says. They give a message saying somehow I forget how they say
Morse code.
Morse code. They say, "Hey, you put gas, feed us, or we're gonna kill you all." So then they have the most exhausting gas exchange ever, and then they escape out the sewer tunnel, blow up the whole gas station. They get on a boat and they go to basically Catalina Island or something, and they're like, "Hey, we win! Adios, motherfucker! Get down, Green Lantern!"
All right.
I said Green Lantern. I meant Green Goblin.
Same thing.
I think we covered most of the
That
points.
was most of the kid is
Creepy.
his father was the one that got smushed at the beginning, I believe.
No, his father's the one that got. I thought his father was the one that got beat to death with the soda cans. Because wasn't it a kid that got smashed by the steamroller?
No, his kid gets smashed by the steamroller. But the baseball kid we later see at the truck stop, his dad went to the truck stop. I'm pretty sure.
His dad.
He was the first one there, right?
His dad is the first one to get
creamed.
We forgot that because he's like, the gas stops working. So there's this one guy named like Roy or something. Who gives a shit? And he, I had it here.
It was
somewhere.
Truck Stop Jan.
Truck Stop Jan.
That was the one who had it.
It was Monster Truck Jan. No,
Truck
So
Jan.
this guy, he's one of the workers at the truck stop, and he's filling up the gas, and then it stops working. And he's like, huh. And like any normal, logical person does, they look down the barrel of a diesel gas pump. Of course. He's like, like trying to clear it out, and then it sprays in his eyes, and he's like, ah! Ah! And later on, he's trying to go find his son, like you were mentioning, and they show his eyes, and it's like the shittiest makeup job of like bleeding
he looked
eyeballs.
like Emilio Estevez, though,
Yeah.
when we first saw him.
His eyes
So
were
I thought
red.
they were smoking the same thing.
I think Emilio Estevez's eyes were redder than the guy who got diesel.
They
in
might
them.
have, yeah.
But he's like bleeding out of his eyes, and he's like, I can see, I just need to save my boy. You're just like, all right, okay, cool. Then he gets smashed by the Green Goblin. He's the first one to like,
Horrifically.
because when they hit him, it's like his head explodes on the Green Goblin.
But then when his body hits the ground, you're like, I think he's alive, right?
He's right.
But he's done. He's
But
just
can we talk about
completely
his
fucked over.
son? Because his son, I don't know, this is such a weird reference, but the whole time I was watching his performance, I was thinking of the creepy puppet in Seed of Chucky.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Because he had the same dead puppet eyes.
Yeah.
Where like he never had an expression. So this baseball player witnesses several of his teammates get murdered.
All of
One
them.
gets crushed by a steamroller. One gets bludgeoned by soda cans.
Which, by the way, why was there a steamroller at the baseball field?
just
Wanted to ask.
It was just from a construction
It's a
site
fucking
nearby, and it was just
Zamboni.
like I don't know, but it came out of nowhere. And every time, did you notice every time he reacted to somebody dying, he just went like this?
Yes, he
Just lowered his
He
head.
goes to like the town when he's biking through the town, and he's seeing people like laying out of their cars and shit.
brutally.
Which I don't know what happened. Did the steering wheel hit you? Like something must have gone down.
Yeah.
And he just looks and
like
well,
like how disappointed I would be if a movie was sold out. Like,
yeah.
I gotta pick these seats. That's what his face was like.
It's like, oh damn, I have 10 more algebra questions to do for him.
Jesus, I got a B-. It's just so weird. His performance is so. But I also, maybe he's probably just reacting to like, this director's on coke. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Emilio
man.
Estevez is high. You know, the one thing about the kid, my favorite part with him, if you don't mind me jumping ahead,
Jump.
way ahead,
We're coking it
is
out tonight.
when he grabs the rocket launcher and says, "This one's for my dad," and then shoots one of the trucks, and then hands off the gun. He's like, "I'm done." And it's like,
yes.
I'm like, what?
That's so good. I'm done. Kill. Like he just killed an inanimate object. It's not like he went on a rampage, Punisher style, and just murdered.
I know.
I've killed enough trucks for one
no.
day.
Take it away.
So now, before
changed me.
we get too ahead of ourselves, which we already have, but I don't care. Let's go back to the beginning, where Stephen King makes a Hitchcock-type cameo.
Yeah.
And only he speaks. And this is where the vending machine calls him an asshole, where he gets out of his car, he puts his money in, and it goes, first off it says, "You're an asshole," and then it goes, "Asshole, asshole, asshole, asshole," which from the beginning I don't understand the rules of this movie. Like,
I don't either.
and then later on you find out at the very end there's this weird haphazard text that says, a UFO was shot. 2 days later, a UFO was shot out of space. I wrote it down because it made so little sense. 2 days after a large UFO was destroyed in space by a Russian weather satellite, which happened to be equipped with a laser cannon with nuclear missiles. Approximately 6 days later, the Earth passed. Well, I did talk text. That's why this isn't making sense. Approximately 6 days later, the Earth passed through the tail of the Rhea M meteor exactly as predicted. So I'm just setting that up for the beginning so you know that it's a Rhea M meteor, and for some reason, apparently, there was a UFO involved, and maybe that's what was going on.
I don't understand what the relevance of the UFO is.
I don't know either, especially since they say a Russian satellite attacked it. So does that mean that the Rhea M mist made it attack? And in that case, is the Rhea M mist protecting us from an alien invasion?
See, I kind of think it is.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the beginning, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why the ATM is saying you're an asshole, because they're like, we're here to save you, asshole.
And you're being a dick because you're hitting my buttons too hard or something.
And then Stephen King gives the greatest the machine called me an asshole delivery I've ever heard in a film.
Yeah.
Can we play that?
This machine just called me an asshole.
This machine just called me an asshole.
It's such a weird... That's just the tip of the weird accent iceberg that happens in this movie.
Oh my God.
It's so...
Some of them, you're just like,
I didn't even get...
what are you saying?
I didn't even get sound clips of the boss because he drove me nuts. Where you gonna take that cow back, Bubba?
Bubba.
He calls everybody Bubba. I
thought that several of the characters were named Bubba.
I just thought they were all named Bubba. And it was just a weird alternate universe where they're all named Bubba. But we should talk about this machine called me an asshole thing a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I have a tendency on my wife's computer. She has a MacBook, and it's not the best. It's a little older, and I'll open up a bunch of windows, and then I'll hit something. I'll get the spin wheel of death, and I'll keep hitting things, and eventually, you know, Macs just get pissy, and they just called me an asshole, and I got mad, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, "Honey,
this machine just called me an asshole."
You know, Ben, that happens to me at the self-checkout all the time.
oh yeah."
100%. So I'm trying to pay.
I hope I didn't just ruin my microphone because I just spilled water all over it. Did I? Is it working?
Wait, what did the mic just say?
This machine just called me an asshole.
I don't
Calm down, Mike.
I don't think I got
You're
it.
good. You're good.
I don't think I
it
got
would have
it
cut
on
out
any-
by now.
On any electrical stuff. That's the first time. It's like I had a hole in my chin. It just went like.
It did. I actually think that's what happened.
I think that's what happened. I
'Cause
just
it
revealed I
was
have
a
a
nice
hole in the
pour.
bottom of my chin.
Um.
What were you saying? Self-checkout. Self-checkout.
Oh, the self-checkout.
Yeah.
So I was going to self-checkout all the time, and it always asked me what the payment method is. And
Yeah.
I get frustrated, and I don't know what to do. And it gets pissy at you when you don't take your bags off.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you take your bags off prematurely. And I took my bags off prematurely the other day, and the machine goes, asshole.
This machine just called me an asshole.
So I called the guy over. I said, hey, machine called me an asshole.
I feel like that's happening every time. Some stores, when you do the chip thing, and then when it's like it makes that noise when you're supposed to remove the chip card, where it's like gang, 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 and I'm like, that's really a dick move on you, machine. Machine's calling me an asshole.
It was just, ugh.
So then we go into the bridge scene. So the first scene is the machine's calling me an asshole. So you're like, all right, they're playing it. It's subtle at first. You
Yeah.
know, the machines aren't on full attack mode yet. And then all subtlety goes out the window.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
With the bridge. Which, by the way, why didn't the Rhea M cloud affect all the cars on the bridge and make them do crazy shit while
It was
the bridge?
very interesting how I have no idea what made it choose certain things and what made it choose
Like, is
other
it
things. Is it
premeditated?
sentient?
It has to be because it asks them to fill them up with gas. There has to be a plan, but you never know what the plan is for the machines. Are they going to take over? This is like a really scaled down, bizarro version of a Transformers film.
Yes,
Is
100%.
what it's like. It's like they're all Decepticons, and yet it's still more entertaining and better action than some of the Michael Bay movies.
I kind of agree. At
least I wasn't bored in it. I wasn't bored
not
in it.
bored. I was definitely not bored.
That's not all the Transformers movies, but there's 2 and 4 are pretty abysmal.
Yeah, they're-
Anytime you can fall asleep during an action movie.
when there's loud explosions in cities on fire.
Anyway, so back to the bridge.
yeah, but-
Maybe it's sentient. Let's just say it has some sort of world domination plan. Sure.
Well,
It's never said.
maybe the aliens, maybe the whole like Rhea M thing was just like circumstantial, and the aliens were just using that as an opportunity to kind of mask their presence, and they were controlling the vehicles so that they could have a takeover or something.
So there was a joint effort between Ray
You know what I
and
mean?
the aliens?
Yes. Or Ray M is just like, it's like, it's going to cause some issues, but nothing's really going to happen. And aliens are like, that's already causing some issues.
It's
Let's
like-
secretly.
It's like somebody who wants to like if somebody's having like a loud raver in your apartment building and you want to go beat somebody up, you know, you can mask it with
Perfect
that.
opportunity.
Or like
Yes.
fireworks and gunshots. You can mask it that
Exactly.
way. I'm not advocating any of this
No,
behavior.
but maybe
I'm just
that's what
saying.
happened. And the aliens, instead of blooding themselves,
I just also
they
just
chose one truck stop.
I gave our audience an indication as to how uncool I am when I was like, if in your apartment you're having a raver, clearly I haven't
Anybody
been
raving?
Anybody out there still raving? You got your glow sticks ready? So now we get. So we already went into detail about the bridge because it was fantastic. But can we just hear the scream one more time?
I want to hear it one more time.
It's my favorite. I want to give that.
You did that when you spilled water on yourself.
I want to give that as like a ringtone to like people I don't like or something like that.
Yeah.
So every time that happens, I at least laugh before I pick up the phone from them. I think that might be a good idea.
I think we should do that.
So now we get into the diner or the truck stop, which is also a diner.
It's a diner
which
stop.
is everything. It's like it's like
A bunker.
yeah, it's a bunker. It's a bunker with a
For
lot of
some
weapons.
reason, nobody wants to penetrate it until the end.
Yeah, and this guy. What is?
I don't understand.
We'll get into that too. But so. The
nearest bobcat was cities away.
It's so bizarre. So the first thing that happens is all the arcade machines start going nuts. Oh no, we forgot. There are, because we were talking about this before the show, how nothing in the diner really attacks them, except we forgot the amazing moment of Nancy or whatever her name is when she gets attacked by the electric knife. When
Wanda. Was it Wanda?
Wanda, yeah, when she's cooking.
the knife!
And the knife slices into her arm and blood sprays everywhere. And then it's
And then
attacking her foot.
It's so amazing.
Oh, it's like, that's what the first half of this movie is so good. I love the whole movie, but I wish the second half had kept on with like just crazy things attacking them.
I really wish that, like I said, like the whole movie, first half is definitely my favorite. That in the second half, it wasn't just the 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
In one car
It was
is it from a train track?
A circle jerk of semi trucks, and then a weird romance that we didn't need between Bubba number 1 and Tough Girl number 1.
Yeah.
But so the first thing that happens, aside from the electric knife cutting, is the pinball machines and arcade machines go nuts, and there's just this one dude hanging out in the arcade, and everything starts going ape shit, and his reaction is clip S. We're going to play here because his reaction, everything's going crazy. Pinball machines are breaking, and he looks at the machines and says what any sensible human being would do. He says,
Your mama.
What?
Stephen King wrote that line.
What? What is it? It's like he's acting like the machines insulted him, and they're like, hey, fuck you, dude. You can't beat us. Fuck you. You got nothing against. Maybe that's what it is.
Did we miss some Morse code there?
Maybe there's some Morse code there. But then he gets put in a trance by these signals that are coming from, what was it, Star Blaster or
Star Castle, which
Star
by
Castle.
the way is I don't know that 80s television screen is all that enthralling.
No, but they said that there was some sort of, I read a factoid that was some sort of actual mental triggers. Those
really?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was making this up.
I was pretty fascinated when
when I was watching it, I
thought
thought I was gonna just say "Yo, mama," but no. So he goes over to this machine and he gets electrocuted by it, and just dies. And then they're like, "Oh shit, we have a dead body in here. What are we gonna do with it? Take it down to the basement." That's where they take all the dead bodies in this movie. They just keep taking dead bodies to the basement.
Yeah,
in this
where there's just guns and
in this super hot,
everywhere.
no AC. That basement has to smell terrible.
Here's a bit about the Star Castle.
Oh,
game.
yeah, please.
This is, I think, what you're talking about. The symbols on the game that we see on screen are typically used by researchers of clairvoyance and ESP.
That's what I read. See, I thought I read something.
Which is very loosely scientific.
It's loosely. That's what this
Very
whole movie
loosely.
is. Loosely scientific. So then we meet all these characters at the diner that we couldn't give a shit about. There's Bubba the Boss. There's Emilio Estevez. Wanda. Who's kind of sexy. I'd say Wanda's kind of sexy.
good looking. Yeah,
she's a looker. And then there's just a bunch of kind of hillbilly type characters that don't really ever get a name until way later on when the guy like freaks out and is like, Wanda, no! And they're like, Mike, get back! And you're like, oh, now he has a name? First
all
off,
80 yard much later.
So many characters survive till the end when they have clearly so many expendable characters.
Yeah,
and they get on a
surprising.
boat with like a baker's dozen, and you're like, what the fuck?
There's a lot of people that run to that boat.
It's like, wait, why didn't you kill off more of these people?
I know.
It was kind of absurd.
And they were all drinking free beer.
Yeah.
At the truck stop. I'd be pissed.
Yeah, well, Bubba
Pay
gets
for that
killed.
shit.
Bubba gets killed early. How does Bubba die again? I can't even remember now.
He gets run over or something.
He gets run over.
What is
No,
it?
he gets shot.
Oh, that's right.
That's later. So first, there's
by the gun car.
First, we get introduced to the tough girl, which is one of my favorite lines when they established the tough girl. She's driving with a Bible salesman who's getting real handsy with her. Real handsy.
What does he say? Sugar?
He's like, oh, sugar. And then he's rubbing her leg like deep down to Danger Town. Deep down to Danger Town.
Nice.
I like that. It's my Friday night.
That's the band of the week.
Deep down to Danger. We are deep down to Danger Town. We'll be back. It's an R&B group. So we're gonna play the tough girl clip because this is one of her intro lines that I love.
Yeah.
Pull in there. And if you don't get your hand off my leg, you're going to be wiping your ass with a hook the next time you take a dump.
I swear, I never heard no talk like that when I was a boy.
My favorite is this where, well, I swear I never heard no talk like that when I was a boy.
Oh, God damn.
When I was a boy, we were just allowed to just go deep downtown whenever we wanted. Women didn't get to say anything. What did women say when he was a boy, when he went deep downtown?
Who knows?
Well, I don't understand.
You know
And, like,
what? I
this-
think they screamed much like this. It's somewhere there.
It's somewhere there. Oh, we'll pretend it happened. It's okay. So, yeah, the Bible salesman guy is hilarious because he's such a walking stereotype of this just like, I'm going to sell you a Bible. You want to buy something?
Yeah.
You want salvation? And the tough girl is just,
I like when he's in the diner, he's talking to people sitting down,
Mm-hmm.
and he's selling the Bible, and the shit's happening outside, and he's like, God damn! And just like runs, and that's when he dies.
the first time he could possibly say anything is, God damn. And yeah, he does get smashed right away, and you think that he's dead. And then he shows up later alive just so
In
they
the
have to do
creek or
this
something.
elaborate rescue mission only to immediately find out he's dead. Like, he stays alive long enough for them to do a rescue mission
man.
through the shower drain where they're like, ugh, I hope there isn't human waste in here. And then Emilio Estevez trips and they're like, what's it taste like? And it's just kind of gross and unnecessary. And while I'm watching it, I'm like, every plot point is legitimately just to move it to a plot point later on.
Yeah.
Like all the everybody you meet, I'm like, all right, clearly they're all gonna end up at this truck stop for some reason. And then as soon as they intro the shower drain, I'm like, clearly they're gonna escape from that. My question is, why didn't they just escape way earlier from
They
that?
could have escaped, like,
So much earlier.
in the first 10 minutes.
It's completely batshit. This movie, then the creepy newlyweds come in. Oh, can we play the creepy newlyweds?
We need to play the creepy newlywed.
Because there are these two younger, and it's Lisa Simpson,
The voice
right?
of Lisa
the voice
Simpson,
of Lisa
yeah.
Simpson and some guy that looks like
Who
me.
looks like Haley Joel Osment.
Looks like me in my awkward teenage years. And here's the creepy newlyweds. No, not Connie Won't Shut Up. It's where is it? It's
one-
Oh, Can I Watch?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We gotta get some gas.
That's good, because I got to go to the ladies.
Can I come in and watch?
No, you can't not come in and watch.
Ouch. Shoot.
Again, my favorite.
Shit.
Shoot.
Can I come in and watch? Him and the Bible guy.
I don't know, like, more, sure, if you're in, I'm like speechless by this because if you're into that stuff, sure. There's never been a point in my life where I'm like, you know what I could go for right now? Watching some girl pee. And that's not, nope.
Watching some girl take a piss in the
also,
ladies.
not to mention, like, they have just gotten married. They're in a
Yeah.
car that says just married. They're going clearly on a classy honeymoon past this truck stop in the middle of Nowheresville, Ohio.
Yeah.
Or wherever they are. And, but the craziest thing to me is that, like, this is not a romantic or funny or cute thing to say to your significant other. It's not like, oh, honey, you're so playful. It's not like, maybe we can go have a rendezvous in the bathroom. It's like, no, can I watch you urinate, honey?
Yeah. I gotta pee so bad. I can watch. I have to go.
Now that-
little pull over to the ladies. What? What did you just say?
It sounded like you just started a banjo song. Like,
Little,
poor little ladies, little diddle diddle.
She is. I think we have another clip. Do you mind if we get to that one? Of
Oh,
her?
might as well. Because then later on, it's...
Oh my God.
Connie just becomes... I'm sure she's a very lovely human being, and she's the voice
Clearly,
of Lisa
she's
Simpson, so she's
lovely and
awesome.
successful.
But this character is unbelievably annoying. And
my God.
later on, she gets this... The car flips when they first show up at the truck stop. They get in a car accident. And Connie will not stop talking for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can stand the entire clip. We might cut it off.
I don't
but
know,
let's roll it. So she's in the car
They're
in a
pulling
car
her out.
accident. They're pulling her out.
Going? Will you get me out of here? I'm caught in this goddamn street. I talked about the traffic. Watch out, Curtis. Will you help me? Watch that thing, Lee. That thing looks sharp.
helped. And what thing are you talking about? What thing do you want them to watch?
It's the knife when the guy's cutting her loose from her seatbelt. She's like, oh, watch that thing. That's just it. It's almost like
goddamn asshole.
I feel like Stephen King was just directing like, okay, hey, so just like you're freaking out, just comment on every single thing that happens. And she's like, okay, but you're not going to use all this, right? And he's like, yeah, no, we'll cut it out. And then it's like,
in there looking around. The radio won't start. Little seatbelt, little handbrake, little driving automatic. Little, give me your damn asshole.
I think this could be a good song. A little seatbelt. Oh man, we're gonna be on The Voice next week performing Little Diddle in the Seatbelt deep down downtown.
Featuring Monster Truck Jan.
So, my favorite part of that clip though, is when she goes, "Oh, you're not my Curtis." It's just like, it's so stream of conscious, so weird.
It's so weird.
Oh, we gotta keep moving.
Odd.
I could keep talking about this forever. So, another thing that I thought was this. Duncan gets hit by the semi-truck is brutal. He gets he's the guy with he's the kid's father.
Yeah.
And then I kept asking myself, like we talked about, why did they bring all the dead bodies in the diner? And secondly, why from minute, I think 37 till the end, are there just trucks circling the diner? And how come,
what is their end game?
Why don't they ever maybe their end game is give us gas. But if that's the case, they should have just parked and made like a wall.
Yeah.
Because they're using their gas to ask for gas, basically. It doesn't make any sense. We're trying to analyze a Coke brain. You know, it doesn't... Oh, we forgot one newlywed thing, which was the loaded my pants when they almost get in an accident with a truck on the road. And teenage version of me says...
I think I just loaded my pants.
I think I just loaded my pants.
Yep.
Oh my God. You know, one time I did load my pants and I got terrified and I just screamed the only way I knew how, and it sounded like this. And then when I finally stopped screaming, I said,
I think I just loaded my pants.
yes.
Yes!
Love it.
I don't even want to top that one. That was too good. I think I just loaded my pants.
I think I just loaded my pants.
I think I just loaded my
I
pants.
like how Curtis, by the way, goes from being this very timid Haley Joel Osment doppelganger to, like, he's into it.
Yeah,
he is so
he's
into
super into it. When they sneak into the shower, that sounded weird. When they sneak into the shower drain, I think I just loaded my pants. I thought about the shower.
Can I watch?
I was thinking of an old joke in college. Dingle Scoot and Pooter Snatch at the Hoot and Scoot. They used to be a fake band we pretended we were. Hi, I'm Dingle Scoot. This is Pooter Snatch, and we're going to be singing at the Hoot and Scoot this weekend. Craig, sorry
Awesome.
if you're listening to this. That's for you, bud.
Craig.
There's so much. This movie, we're laughing so much because it's been a while on this show since I've seen a movie that derails my train of thought more than this. And I'm being told we have 4 minutes, which is not enough time to talk, but we're gonna keep rolling anyways. So there's so much that happens and yet so little.
Yeah, nothing happens, but everything is going on.
Yeah, basically from this moment forward, there's just truck circling forever.
Yeah.
Randomly, you find out that the owner of the restaurant has just a plethora of weapons,
including the most lightweight rocket launcher I've ever seen.
I've never seen anyone hold a rocket launcher like they just hold it like
somebody. The Wanda, I think it's Wanda, picks it up with one hand.
Oh yeah, we might
shortly before she walks outside.
We might as well just get into that clip because. Basically, Bubba Boss gets dispatched because the army vehicle shows up. Forgive me for not knowing the technical term. And it has a machine gun on top.
I believe it's the Rudy Tooty Aim and Shooty.
The Rudy
is
Tooty
what
Aim
you're
and
searching
Shooty.
for.
The Rudy Tooty Aim and Shooty at the Dingo Scoot and Pooter Snatch at the Hoot and Scoot. Shows up to the Hoot and Scoot. And it just blasts away at the boss.
Yeah.
And he just gets... It's funny because when he gets shot, it's one of those where they cut to him and the blood's already there. Like, there weren't squibs or like squibs went off
But
and they
then
fucked
after
off the
him...
tape. Yeah.
There's three more guys that there are squibs.
Yeah, and it's brutal and
so
awesome.
So clearly there was a misfire with his squibs.
Yeah. And then Wanda goes nuts. And Wanda finally has had it with these machines. Because she had a moment before where she screamed, "We made you."
Yeah.
But this time, she just loses her shit. She grabs a rocket launcher. And she goes outside and then systematically gets destroyed by this machine gun while Mike, the other guy we haven't heard say a word until now, apparently had a thing for her and gets really upset.
Yeah.
But that's just the setup for this clip. Can we play We Made You, please?
Want to know? Want to know? God damn it, let go of me! We made you! Want to know? Get back here! Can't you understand? Want to know? You can't do this! We made you!
Oh my god. In the middle somewhere is when she should have fired the low-weight rocket.
Yeah, and no, she doesn't until after she gets blasted, and then it fires and shoots another truck that was just sitting there, and toilet paper flies out of it.
I love how the subtext of this wasn't like, I'm fucking pissed off at you. It was, this isn't fair.
This isn't fair. We gave you life. I imagine that's how some parents feel about teenagers sometime, where like teenagers are just being a dick to their parents and they're just like, we made you. You can't do this. You can't tell me to fuck off. I'm your parent. We made you. I just imagine that someday as a parent. I'm going to quote this movie to my teenage son someday.
Make them watch it.
In the future whenever I have a teenage son or daughter.
So you better be nice to me because you never know when your truck is going to go AWOL.
You never know. So then the Jesus guy dies we talked about, the Bible salesman. Dixie Boy Truck Stop, we forgot. That's what it's called the whole time. The Dixie Boy. We
2
made
miles
you.
away.
Oh my God. Oh, and the kid with when the truck shows up and they're like, what's it saying? He's like, it's Morse code. I know because I got a merit badge this spring in it. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
What boy?
I should know. I got a merit badge. Turns to camera.
With no expression again. I got a merit badge. Oh, you just got murdered in front of me.
He's probably an expert.
Oh, we got to wrap soon. So
Quick,
we
somebody hand me a pen. What? You're not that fat. The thing's going like... And you're like, oh, dot and swim down. They need gas. Can I watch?
Can I watch?
Which, by the way, when they fill up the gas, it's the hottest day ever.
Oh,
randomly.
Yeah. So we got to wrap it up in a few minutes here. So we're gonna go. We're gonna blow through the rest of it because this could be an hour and a half show.
Take it away.
So what happens is, like you said, they find through the Morse code that the trucks want gas. So then it's the longest line of trucks ever, where I'm sure this entire budget was just renting semi trucks.
100%.
And then they pump gas all day, and they're all super exhausted from it. They're all like, oh, I'm gonna pass out, and I'm like, hey. I imagine that me as a person, if I pump gas even for 12 hours straight, I wouldn't be as exhausted as they were. Like, it's just...
You're pressing a button.
All right. Okay, move on. Next thing. This whole movie feels like the Duel Steven Spielberg's movie on steroids. Like, just like on coke. It's Duel on coke.
It's very much on coke.
That's what it is. And then, we talked about how the kid shoots the drive-through window with the machine gun and says, I'm done.
I'm done.
And then they basically decide they're going to get on a boat because the boat, it's a sailboat.
Yeah.
Which to me, they go out on a dock with all these other motorized boats. Why didn't the motorized boats come alive?
They were sleeping.
But I think what I read was they were going to do that and they didn't have the budget for it. They spent it all on coke and trucks.
They should have taken the boats.
Coke and Trucks. That's another great band name.
Coke Trucks.
Coke Trucks.
I love how their end game was, we're going to this, I think they said 2-mile radius island, and there's no technology
There's
there.
no electronics. Is
What?
it an Amish island? What is this? So they get to the docks, and then Emilio Estevez gets the rocket launcher. All the trucks have been destroyed at the gas station. They blow it all up. They all sneak through the shower drain, which they should have done 40 minutes earlier, but they were just too busy having weird impromptu sex. Emilio Estevez and Tough Girl.
Yeah,
and
in a room full of dead bodies.
And Wanda was too busy yelling, "We made you." And then they get there. They get to the docks, and Green Goblin truck is still following them. And that's when Emilio... By the way, they never have to reload this rocket launcher. It's just never ending.
At one point, to be fair, there's a rocket in somebody's pocket.
There is. So it's just the easiest to shoot and reload rocket launcher ever made. And this is the perfect way to end the show because Emilio Estevez says an action hero line with "Adios, motherfucker." And he shoots...
Adios, motherfucker!
And he blows it up. They get on a boat, and then we get that really weird post-credits thing that we already said where there was a UFO shot out of space. And
I thought that was
incredible.
the end of Mighty Ducks.
It was incredible. I think it was. It was Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah.
So if we go on any longer, we're not going to be able to come back next week because Popcorn Talk is going to say to us...
kick us out. Oh.
Adios, motherfucker.
Adios, motherfucker!
So, unfortunately, that's all the time.
Yes!
That's what Steve in the booth is doing right now. He's saying, you got to rap. So that's all the time we have for this week. We could go on forever about Maximum Overdrive. We're trying to line up a special guest next week. It may or may not happen, so we haven't decided the movie yet.
Yeah.
But we will let all our fans know. Until then, make sure you tweet at us at Guilty Movie Guys, and follow us on review us on iTunes. This is a very great outro, by the way. I feel pressured. Review us on iTunes. Tweet at us. Comment in the section below. Let us know what guilty movie pleasures we haven't covered that you'd love us to, and keep the suggestions coming because we love the suggestions, especially when we haven't seen them. It just opens up our eyes to brilliance that we didn't know existed. Where can they find you, Cam?
At the only Camshaft Twitter and Instagram, and at Guilty Movie Guys on Twitter. Ben.
At the Ben Begley. Also, you can find out about the Funhouse Massacre, the movie my wife and I wrote. It's a horror comedy at funhousemassacremovie.com. Until next week, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.